Welcome back. You're watching The Morning Line on TVG. Rich Perloff, Matt Crothers in Los Angeles. We're going to turn our attention right now to the Land of Enchantment, New Mexico, because the Land of Enchantment Stakes program comes up the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That is this coming Wednesday. Look at that. 8 stakes races for both quarter horses and thoroughbreds, highlighted by the $200,000 Zia Park Derby and the $300,000 Zia Park Oaks. And accordingly, we are joined now by Fred Hutton, who is the Director of Racing at Zia Park. Fred, a very good morning to you, and thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us.
You bet. Good morning, fellas. Appreciate it. Thanks.
We're looking at the lineup of racing. So first of all, congratulations on assembling this tremendous race card. And you've got to be particularly gratified, I would think, Fred, to see a couple of marquee names in the entry box, starting with International Star, who was very prominent on a lot of folks' Derby top 10 lists before he fell off the trail.
Yeah, just a tremendous, you know, the way it came together. We're very excited to have these horses, you know, meet up here in Hobbs, New Mexico, Zia Park, and I look forward to walking in the paddock and looking at some of the best 3-year-olds, you know, still standing. So very excited.
But the great thing about this race, and you have so many big races, but in particular the Zia Park Derby for $200,000, is you would think you got International Star in this race. This is a horse who is a multiple Grade 2 winner. He won the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. As Rich mentioned, he was on everyone's short list of Derby contenders before a setback. That it's not a very good betting race. You have this star horse returning, but you got a field of 9 assembled for this. An International Star off a long layoff is by no means a slam dunk in this race. It's a good betting race, too.
You know, I agree. I mean, when you look down through it, you got 5 horses that are, you know, accomplished in the fact that they've got graded, you know, they've been running in graded stakes and they've been competitive. You know, the Victor's horse, Mobile Bay, coming out of, you know, Louisiana, he tells me he's on top of his game. They say he's an imposing figure, so I'm pretty excited to see how these horses match up and, you know, watch it develop right here in front of me. So, yeah, cool stuff.
We're taking a look at Mobile Bay now as he's coming down the lane to score under Edgar Prado in the Super Derby. He ran well behind Shotgun Cowboy as well in the Oklahoma Derby, and that's a quality runner for C.R. Trout. Let me ask you about one of the local horses here, Fred. I'm always intrigued when all the horses ship in for big stakes race days like this. Pain and Misery on the rail has taken his act on the road with limited success, but he has been an absolute beast there at Zia Park. Over the history of this Land of Enchantment Stakes program, how have the locally based horses acquitted themselves?
You know, they've done well. I mean, a few years ago, Wine Drinker Who, he's actually in our championship event a little bit later in the card. You know, won that race here. And I'll tell you, this horse, this Pain and Misery, I don't know that you know, to me, he's a no-tossed individual. You know, I mean, he's got, you know, run second in the Pat Day there on Derby Day and was third behind Firing Line, you know, who wound up second in the Derby. But I'll tell you, his last race was a monster event. I mean, this horse, he beat, you know, pretty decent older horses, and he did it very, very easily with his ears pricked. You know, and although he kind of ran just a, you wouldn't think, but maybe just a slight bit green coming down through the lane, I think if this horse brings his A game, he's going to be part of the mix.
That's a look at a couple of the contenders for the Zia Park Derby. The big money event on the program goes as race number 8. That is the $300,000 Zia Park Oaks. And once again, you've got a marquee player here. You've got Calamity Kate, who has Grade 1 placings and was last seen in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Nice to see her making her way to Hobbs, New Mexico.
Yeah, that was, you know, a kind of a surprise. You know, in talking to Kelly, it was really how she kind of got jostled around in the distaff. She got beat 7 lengths in the, you know, Breeders' Cup race there, and he wanted to make sure that she came out of it good. And initially, it was, you know, kind of a let's see situation, but evidently she bounced back good enough, and you know, it's going to be real neat to see her parading around in the paddock too. But hey, by no means, guys, they're, you know, Hollendorfer, they're pretty high on that filly there.
Never ends.
Yeah, they're pretty high on her, and of course Dale Romans, you know, with the West Point, they're thinking that filly's, you know, just starting to come into her own. So Interesting race. Interesting.
And we're showing Never Ends last start on the 23rd of October. Yeah, she was really dominant on the 9th of October. Comes back 14 days later and in a pretty easy 2 1/4 length score. She can go to the lead. She can sit off the pace. Martine Garcia will be in to ride for Jerry Hollenover. But yeah, this is the entire card, top to bottom. I think it's an 11 race program you guys have on Wednesday. It looks sensational. And I want to ask you about the placement of some of these races. It's a little unusual, but you have the Zia Park Derby race number 7, and then you have the $300,000 Zia Park Oaks race number 8. The reasoning for placing those races a little bit earlier than most tracks would. Most tracks would have their big races, maybe the second to last race in the program.
Right. You know, when we started this program originally, this is our 3rd year. We started it 2 years ago, and it was really supposed to be set on a weekend. And it was supposed to marquee quarter horses on one day and thoroughbreds on another, something that was different, here in the state of New Mexico where we predominantly run mixed meat. But we had to cancel that first year and fell into a Wednesday, and heck, we've set 2 pari-mutuel records in 10 years of existence. We're hoping we're going to break it this year. And that's, we set that program up kind of that way, and it segues into, the Penn National program, too. So we want to keep people engaged, and, the sprint, the last race on the card's a good one. There's the pick 4 for those last 4 races, and the pick 3 for the Derby, the Oaks, and the championship. So we kind of gave them, I think, a pretty good handicap and mix there.
Well, it looks like you have huge fields for the most part.
Yeah, it came together really nice. I mean, the 11th race, you need a Ouija board for that deal. So, anytime you get breeds, they just like beating up on each other. So, that should carry a little bit of handle, we're hoping. So we're hoping we break a pari-mutuel record again, here in our 11th year at Zia.
We've been talking with Fred Hutton, the director of racing at Zia Park. It's the Land of Enchantment Stakes program. 8 stakes on the card this coming Wednesday, the Wednesday right before Thanksgiving out there in Hobbs, New Mexico. Fred, thanks for joining us. Best of success with the program
Good luck,
this year.
Fred.
Looks like a great card.
Hey, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right.